This is a quick video on how to test strategies, specifically the 30-second bot, and how you can record the strategy results along with the settings that you're using to achieve those results in a shared Google Doc that has been created for that purpose. For the sake of this tutorial, I'm doing everything inside a web browser so that I can keep all the things in the same place. I recommend doing the same just so that there is no discrepancy between the various options and settings that may exist if you're using TradingView desktop, which has slight variations. I opened the 30-second and Q chart. I've loaded the 30-second bot strategy, and you can see a couple of trades I tried to take earlier today. The first thing I want to do is I want to click on the strategy here, and that's going to show the results of that strategy over a course of time. In this case, we can see that it has a net profit of 4,900 over 62 trades. It's roughly 61% profitable with a 1.7 RR. Max drawdown was around $1,350. One thing I should note, this max drawdown is based on the actual losses that the bot taken. It does not count trailing drawdown. That may be the case for many of us who are dealing with problems with a trailing drawdown. So just be aware of that. And then there's a couple of other stats, like what is the average trade size and number of bars inside the trade. So here it shows 6. So that means that roughly a trade lasts for about 3 minutes. This is just a quick visual summary of what's going on. You could see more details in performance summary, and we'll go back to that tab in a second. What is often interesting is actually the list of trades. These are the individual trades that were taken by the bot with their P&L, as well as the entry times and the exit times that are shown here. And you can see all the different trades. The one nice thing about it is that if you move your cursor to the left side, and you'll see this little targeting icon. If you click on it, it'll actually navigate to the portion of the chart where you'll be able to see the trade and see what actually was going on in the price action inside this particular trade. And you can evaluate whether or not this is a kind of trade that you would have taken yourself. And if not, perhaps use that as a basis of tweaking the various settings that are available inside the indicator. And you can do it for every single trade inside this basic backtesting mode that is available in TradingView. And on 30 seconds, it's going to roughly go back about a week in the history to test all the possible entries. So if I scroll down here very quickly, you'll see the first entry was from August 1st. We are today in August 12th, so roughly 7 trading days, less the weekends and holidays and all that kind of stuff. So this is a good way of analyzing the actual trades that have been taken. Where things become a bit more interesting is if you click on the deep backtesting toggle, which will actually allow you to pick a longer time frame. And by default, it defaults to the maximum time frame that's available, and try to analyze the results derived by the bot over that entire time frame. Now, when you're doing deep backtesting, one of the things that is no longer possible is that you cannot jump into the individual trades. So this is really just a way of evaluating the bot over a longer period of time without being able to analyze the individual trades that the bot had taken on the chart itself. You can still see every single trade on a list, but you can't actually scroll to that section of the chart because you're going to be limited by the history and the number of bars in history that TradingView is going to go. Strategy tester, sorry. If you go back to the overview tab, then you could see the overall results of the trade. So you could see obviously the P&L was a bit higher. The number of trades was a lot higher because the time frame is much higher. However, the percent profitable has obviously gone down, and the max drawdown was quite a bit. It's around 3,600. So you can see the bot had a pretty rough time until about 144 trades in, where things became better and it started to become profitable. So ideally, you don't want to see these big kind of dips, and obviously this huge drawdown, if, for example, you were using a 50K account, chances are that account would have been blown because of a significant drawdown that it had incurred. So this is just the way that you can analyze the information. And obviously, as you go into the indicator, I'll go into settings here for a second just so you can see them. And we start tweaking any of the settings. So let's just pick distance from swing bars and we'll change it from 11 to 15. That'll alter the results. If you're in deep backtesting mode, you actually need to click on generate report in order for those settings to change. You'll see that there's a slight variation. Now we don't have a dip, we actually gone back up. If you're not in deep backtesting mode and you're playing with the settings, the results will actually change dynamically. So I'm going to keep the settings here, they're not going to disappear. And as I change, you could see that the values are reloading and some of the values are starting to change, like the profit factor. Net profit is not changing, but the profit factor is changing. And you can change the settings as you want. It usually takes a few seconds for it to reload and actually be able to show you the results of it. So that is the quickest way to check the basics. And once you're happy with the basics, then you can click cancel, turn on backtesting mode, and analyze the same setup over a longer period of time. So that is the basic of how you can use the built-in tool inside TradingView in order to be able to evaluate how well the bot configuration that you're using is working. So now what I want to talk about is how to actually take this information and record it inside the shared Google Doc so that we can identify as a group what are hopefully the best settings for the bot. So I'm going to switch from deep backtesting and I'm going to switch to the performance summary tab where you could see all of the different parameters of the trades that were taken, which includes all the data that is shown inside here, which is our particular area of interest for evaluation, like the number of trades, P&L, percent profitable, and so on. This tab, you will see a little icon which says export data. And when you click on it, what it'll do is it'll download the performance data of the bot for either the basic backtesting or the deep backtesting mode. It's the same format, same file, and so on. Then what you can do is if you happen to be on Windows like I am, you can navigate to the folder where the file is saved. I have a sample here, and you can actually see this CSV file, which is just a whole bunch of numbers and labels in the preview tab. And that's actually all you need. So you can click on this preview area, use the Control-A shortcut to select all the text, and then Control-C to copy it into the clipboard. Then you can navigate to the Google Doc, which will be linked below, and jump into the Scratchpad pane where you can do the basic data manipulations. First thing you do is you paste the data that you've copied, which as you can see is pretty unreadable. But then you can go into the data tab, click on split text to columns. Now it'll format previously unreadable data into a readable table similar to how it is shown in TradingView. What we're interested in is the second column, which actually has the overall values, which we'll want to copy into clipboard. You can do it via shortcut, or you can go into edit and copy, whatever you prefer. Go into the raw tab, and here pick an empty row. And here you would go into paste special and transposed. And what it'll do is it'll actually take a data that is arranged in a column and convert it into a series of columns, essentially creating a line with all of the values that we're interested in. And these are all the values. We don't actually are using all of the values for analysis, but you don't need to worry about it. And once you've pasted the line, if you go to the main page, now you see a row that has been created with all the values that have been imported from the bot. And the only thing that you need to do is put your name here. Last name, for example, I've put my name in the earlier example. Indicate whether this is a basic backtest, deep backtest, or if you're using specific time frames like 30 days back, 60 days, 90 days, or a year, you can pick that so it's easier to analyze. So this was a basic backtest, for example. And then into configuration, we would go back into the TradingView pane, go click on the three dots and copy the settings that are being used to drive these results. And then here you can just paste the settings and all the relevant settings are pasted. So now we have a reference of both the results and the settings that were used to derive these results. It would be helpful if you do this twice so that there's both basic and deep results. But if you just want to provide the basic result, that is fine too. And there is also an optional column here where you can put whatever notes describing what you were trying to attain or anything that you would consider to be important as the setting of relevance. So that is it.